it pretty quick. So what do you think of when you hear the term rose-colored glasses? I mean, there are different ways to look at it, and I think it brings up something different for each of us. Back in my hippie days, which was quite some time ago, I had great big rose-colored glasses, and they were flower-shaped. Right, okay. So, and I just loved them. Because when I wore them, I mean, things seemed so alive and joyful and happy. And of course, everybody around me was probably just kind of laughing at me because I had these big silly glasses on. But the joy just seemed to travel with me. And those colored glasses from a long time ago, they helped me see, and especially looking back, they helped me see that the perspective that we take, the lens through which we look at the world, has everything to do with what we experience. Now, does anyone here happen to know someone who could use some rose-colored glasses? Anybody? Okay, got it. Because, you know, they're not bifocals. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Sonny. And I can't really see through them very well. The origin of the idiom rose-colored glasses there's a lot of guesses about it. But one theory is that many years ago, hundreds of years ago, map makers, because they had to do such intricate work, had to make sure that their glasses were very, very clean and scratch-free. And so they used rose petals to clean their glasses. And the oil in the rose petals, you know, made them smooth and clean, although rubbing oil on your glasses doesn't sound like a good idea to me, but it left a rose-colored film. And so they could see very clearly, and yet all that they saw was through these rose-colored glasses. Here's what Wiktionary has to say about rose-colored glasses. An optimistic perception of something, a positive opinion, seeing something in a positive way, often thinking of it as better than it actually is. So sometimes looking through rose-colored glasses means that we're not being realistic. Sometimes it means that we're avoiding things in our lives or pretending that things are really better than they are. Now, if you think of somebody who has rose-colored glasses about their finances, if their finances are challenged, those rose-colored glasses might make it so that they go out and spend more money than they have. It might mean that they overuse their credit cards, just saying, oh, I'm optimistic. The money will come from somewhere. That kind of use of rose-colored glasses, I wouldn't so much suggest. Have you ever heard the quote, "Trust in Allah, but tie up your camel"? Maybe not. In 7th century Mecca, when Muhammad lived, camels were very important, obviously, because they traveled well in the desert, and that was the primary way that people had to get around. And camels were valuable. If you didn't breed them, then you would have to buy one, and they could be kind of pricey. So it was really important if you had a camel to take good care of it. So one day, a man comes to Muhammad and says, "Oh, Prophet, I do all that I'm supposed to do. I'm a good Muslim. I do all that God wants me to do, all that Allah claims I should do." And Muhammad says, "Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're a man of faith and a man of action." And then the man says, but Prophet, this morning I went to the market and I prayed that God would take care of my camel. while I went in and did my shopping. And I came out and my camel was gone. Why didn't God take care of my camel? You know, the prophet Muhammad chuckled and said, have faith in God, trust in Allah, but always tie up your camel. And so what that reminds us is that even when we have a deep-seated faith in a higher power, a deep-seated faith in that divine presence that is always here for us, we still need to take care of our responsibilities. We still need to do our part. It's really not fair to expect God to do in miraculous ways what we could do in everyday ways. Some examples of that are, even though we don't plan on getting sick, we don't plan on illness, we do all we can to have good health care coverage. Even though we don't plan to have mishaps on the road, we insure our automobiles and ourselves. Even though we may have a deep, deep, deep faith in the divine protection that is always around us, it is still our responsibility to look both ways before we cross the street. We need to do what is ours to do. So, if you happen to be using rose-colored glasses in ways that are keeping you in denial, or in ways that are not attending to what's yours to attend to, I suggest that you take them off and put them down. I suggest that you step up and accept the responsibilities of your life and all of the joys that will bring. But there's another aspect of looking through rose-colored glasses that's not denial. Ehal.com said, having a positive attitude lets you see things from a different perspective. Looking through rose-colored glasses is an optimistic way of viewing a situation or the world. And our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, you are part of the universal mind, one with the universal substance. You live, move, and have your being in pure spirit. All the wealth, all the power, all the goodness exists at the center of your being. You experience this good in such degree as you accept, believe in, and feel it. So one of the ways we change our beliefs is by changing our perspective, changing the way we look at things. Wayne Dyer has said, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. Now, it has been said that he may have actually been quoting the quantum physicist Max Planck, because this idea of changing the way you look at things and having those things change comes directly from quantum physics. At the tiniest subatomic level, the very act of observing a particle changes that particle. And how you observe it determines what it will end up doing and being. So if we think in terms of ourselves being larger particles, part of the human race, a particle in life itself, then it's no surprise that how we look at the world, how we observe the world, affects the world that we see. Change the way you look at the world, and the things you look at change. So how are you looking at the world? Now, if my name was Rose, I would always be looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. Okay, but my name's Jyoti, so I am always looking at the world through Jyoti colored glasses. And as I look out, I see the result of lives where you are always looking through Pete colored glasses, always looking through Linda colored glasses, always looking through Debbie colored glasses, because that's what we do. It is absolutely up to us. We each look through our own lens. We each look through our own colored glasses and thereby create our lives. The good and bad are labels that we as humans use to categorize things. But in reality, it's all God. It is all God. When we see something as negative or harmful or bad, it's because we're looking at it from a particular point of view, a particular perspective. And because it's all God, I believe that there are always some ways that we can remember that because it's all God, it does contain some goodness. And so we can change the way we look at it. And maybe even if we can't get to that place of looking at something that we thought was bad as good, maybe we can at least get to a neutral place, a place of being open to the possibility that good might come of it. We see what we expect to see. We see what we believe we're going to see. Because that starts within us. Now the question comes up, of course, how can we look at the tragedies and the massacres that happen again and again, that we see over and over again in the news? Last week, Nice. This week, Munich. How do we look at that and see good there? Now, I don't have any easy answers to that one. I don't think any of us have any easy answers. But what if all of that, even the young people killing young people, as happened in Munich, I mean, what if all of that is part of the evolution of this species called humankind? What if somehow, even though we don't get it from our human standpoint, something is happening? Consciousness is being raised. So that's one way to look at it. Here's what my friend, practitioner Steph Swink, had to say. With over 7.2 billion people living here, the number consumed by hurt, hate, and confusion is small. Yet more and more often, their actions affect us all. But so too does the love, connectedness, care, and compassion of billions of others. I refuse to go numb. I refuse to lose faith. I refuse to harbor small resentments or fuel the fire of doom. We are resilient and incredible creatures, capable of such intense love and miracles. Let's stay awake and in love with each other, even when our hearts are heavy and afraid. So we can choose to focus on the hurt and the hate and the confusion, or we can choose to focus on the love, the caring, the compassion, all of that is holding us all. And we do that not only in the big global things, but we do that, and we can do that in our lives. We can look at illness through rose-colored glasses. We can look at relationships through rose-colored glasses. And we can view job challenges, financial situations, and any other life challenges through that lens of looking for whatever good we can find, for it is always, always there. In Science of Mind, we teach that even if we can't see the perfection of every moment, our lives are unfolding in divine perfection, even when we don't understand it. We each get to choose the lens through which we look at the world. So our old ideas or old beliefs or old ways of looking at the world, perspectives, getting in your way? Are you ready to consciously choose a different perspective? Are you ready to put on some rose-colored glasses? An affirmation is going to come up on the screen. And I'd like you to say it with me.
I look at my life and know that it is good.
Let's say that once again.
I look at my life and know that it is good.
And so I invite you to close your eyes and take that in as we move into prayer. For as we look at our lives and see the goodness, see the joy, I absolutely know that that's what we experience. And as I move into this prayer, I invite all practitioners to stand and join me in high consciousness, filling this room with that energy of love. I absolutely know that right here, right now, divine love, divine light, divine joy is present. I absolutely know that as we look out, we can see that. I absolutely claim that the presence of God makes itself real to us in our lives, in the world. I claim a oneness with all people everywhere who worship today and throughout the week, who celebrate, however they do it, in mosques, on mountaintops, in circles, in nature, in churches. But what I know is that there is only one thing happening here. We call it God, but it goes by so many names. But we all celebrate that same life, that same love. And so what I know is that as each of us goes forward this week, it is with rose-colored glasses. As we each go forward, we are aware that we get to choose our perspective. We can choose to be taken down by all that we hear in the news. We can choose to be lifted up by all of the things that as we look for, we see. And so what I claim is an awareness of choice for each of us. I claim that our paths are absolutely filled with blessings. I know that our paths are filled with all that we could ever need or want for satisfying, fulfilling lives. And so I claim our openness to it. I claim that we allow it to move in, through, and as us in wondrous ways that bring us joy, that serve all of those around us, and that bring a new peace and a new calmness to the world. I am so grateful that we know that as we speak these words, as these words are placed into the law, they are done in the mind of God. All that needs to happen for all of this to take place in manifestation is being orchestrated right now. All of the connections, all of the opportunities, all of the ideas, all of the inspirations. And so knowing that this is true, I simply let it go. I let it go, letting God take care of it. Surrendering it to the all-powerful source of all good. And in that letting go, I simply say, and so it is.